what it takes.
I don't know. I've only been in America a week.
Composer of Gremlins.
I'm Tze Chun, showrunner, executive producer.
So, Sherri and Z, I have to ask you, how did we go from live action Gremlins that was totally creepy when I was a kid to this very kid friendly? Like, as I was watching, I was like, this is not the same Gremlins I remember scaring me when I was like 8 or 9.
I think that what happened was there has been like 30 years in between the original Gremlins movies.
Age me.
Yeah, and then essentially what happened was this was something that came out of Warner Brothers and Amblin talking about what other things that they could do together. And animation, for me, felt like a way where we could really capture. Show takes place in 1920s China. The original idea for the show was that the old Mr. Wing from the original Gremlins movies, kind of mysterious. You don't really know a lot about him. This tells the origin story of how they met. And setting the show in 1920s China would have been just incredibly expensive to shoot there because it no longer exists. And as Joe said, it would have been the most expensive TV show ever made had we gone that route. And speaking to Joe, he was just like, we're so glad you're doing animation because the Mogwai can do things in animation that they could not do in puppets. So if you see the scale of the first movie especially, it has to be somewhat limited and focused to its benefit because, we're essentially dealing with puppets. What we want to make with the show is that something that could really appeal to like parents and kids, to appeal to older fans of the original Gremlins movies, like me and Brendan, and also bring in new fans.
I do have to say, as I was watching on our screeners, there was an episode, and it was of a historical figure. I'm just going to say Bass Reeves. And I didn't learn about him until I was an adult, actually. So introducing him, kind of like what you said, for parents and for kids, how did we get... What made you do that? Because I think that was so cool, specifically with that character, because like I said, I did not learn about Bass Reeves, and learning from Gremlins and introducing it
Yeah. Well, I think that when you set something in the Wild West, there's the historical representation of what the Wild West looks like, which is obviously not what the Wild West looked like. And that comes from Hollywood movies, Western TV shows. And so we felt that in this moment where we're also telling a story about, kind of the Chinese family navigating the Old West, how can we tell stories that, maybe we haven't necessarily seen before that are still historically semi-accurate? Obviously, Bass Reeves was a real person, but it's not, I don't think he interacted with gremlins in real life, but it was a way in where, let's introduce history that we maybe haven't seen before.
Now, from a composing side of it, you are dealing with a lot of history, ancient, like you said, 1920 ancient China, but also current. So, like, how was that for you, tying both those sounds and music to past and present?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, I was like you, where when I saw Gremlins when I was younger, I was like, this is too scary, this is too crazy, this is but it honestly, it kind of grew on me as well. I mean, I also feel with our show here, it's taking all of the greatest elements of those movies, and that, even just, the Gremlins being brats, and Gizmo being adorable, and still like the heartfelt and the adventure and the mystery and all of that is still a part of it, which I think is what bridges the gap so well. And into the music, I mean, look, some of it, Jerry Goldsmith started this with Joe Dante, and there's a fan base, and I think there's also, to your point about location and I was gonna say decade being a part of it, time and place being a part of it, I think is important. There's traditional Chinese instruments that I'm including in here. When we move to the West, there's more Western instrumentation, and there's more Americana types of things. But there is the elements of storytelling in music that I think what today's don't want to say today's practices. I would say today's trends and practices are, and I do think that there is something to sticking with those and saying, okay, well, we do need to do some of that as well. You know, we do need to tell a story, and it's fine to be an artist all the way around, but there is a something to be served here.
Last question. Spoilers. I always ask, can I get a few?
That's on you.
Our publicity team is standing right off camera.
No, we don't see. There, go, shoot.
Spoilers? I don't know. I mean, listen, animation takes like 4 or 5 years, so I mean, I think when I watch the show, I will have forgotten most of it. So yeah, do you have any spoilers for me?
No, I do. Well, just the one that I just saw from the screen. I was really excited to see Bass Reeves. So yeah, that was cool. Well, thank you guys for your time, and I look forward to the show.
Thanks so much.
Bye.
I do this.